Good morning. It is Thursday, the 7th of January, and I finished my sweater. Well, I finished knitting it. I haven't woven in any ends or anything. Well, this is interesting looking at it. It's all dark up here. It reads dark down the sleeves, but it's much lighter down here, but it works. Still works. The sleeves look like they go together, and it's not obvious, I don't think, like immediately that they're not exactly the same unless you thought about it. So anyway, I'm really happy with it. What do you think? Oh, Pearl just left. Pearl just left. They were both in there for a cuddle, but it wasn't quick enough. Good morning. Oh, I already said that, don't I? I'm adjusting things while you're watching me. Did I say I'm Barbara? Now, I did that analysis of the sweater without my glasses on, so you can do your own if you want. But I'm really happy with it. I really kind of love this collar the way it is. As you can see, I haven't woven in any ends and trimmed and stuff. I think what I'm going to do with the collar is I'm going to put one or two. This side of the collar has 5 little yarn over buttonholes. Tiny. So I'm going to put a couple of small buttons, just 2, I think, on this side so that I can button it up to there if I want to. Those aren't ends to be woven in. They just need to be trimmed. And then I think I'm just going to put a nice decorative button right here, or maybe 2. Close up those holes if I think I need to. That's my plan for the collar. So that I can close the collar, but if I leave the collar open, you won't see those little 2 buttons. But if I want, you know, like a little more warmth. Oofda. I don't know why I'm so, like, tired. Just took a shower. Got Dennis's tea. It is once again late. Good morning. So, I haven't even taken the stitch markers off. I just bound off the last sleeve late-ish last night, and I was tired. Went to Aura's last night, and by the time I got home, I was already tired. So I missed my knit night, and I just finished my sleeve and called it a day. But I slept okay last night, so that is good. So we're going back over to Aura's today in the afternoon. Dennis is making dinner. His aunt and uncle will be there. As I said, they were tested for COVID before they decided to travel at all. And so we're going to go have dinner with them. We're not going to stay too long. And that's the plan for today. Maybe I will deal with my ends. 2 things about a mohair sweater. I put it on very shortly after I moisturized my face, and I now have little pieces of mohair all over my face. So if I start madly wiping things, it's because the mohair has started to bug me. I will pay more attention to that next time. The other thing is, it's a little bit itchy. This is the first time I've worked with mohair. I haven't made anything with mohair before. Well, that's not true. My Material Girl has a panel on the bottom that's 100% mohair. And so that I'm a total liar. I have worked with mohair when I did that. And but that's a loose sweater, and it's just at the bottom, and the mohair didn't bother me. But this is a little bit itchy, and I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be too itchy. After I finished it, I wore it for about a half an hour last night just to see, you know, like, is this going to be a problem? Do I have to wear a t-shirt under my sweater? Which I could. So I'm going to wear it today. I'm going to take it off and I'm going to weave in all the ends. I say all the ends. When I changed colors, every time I changed colors, what I did was, and you'll be able to see it better on the sleeves. What I did was, when I was ready to change colors, so I was doing this color, and I wanted to, and I was adding the orangey color. What I did was I just grabbed the orange and I knit from about 4 stitches in front to 4 stitches in back of my beginning of row marker. And I just knit with the 3 yarns for about 8 stitches. And then I cut the old yarn I was done with and went on with the new yarn. And I did that every time. I did it under the arm for the body, and I did it under the arm for the sleeves. So I do not have any ends to weave in because of the color changes. The only ends I have to weave in are because I was done, cast off, or cast on, which would be, there might be something around the neck that I have to weave in, and at the bottom I have to weave in. The rest of these giant strings are that I didn't cut any of the ends as I was coming and going and adding the new color. So I have to go in and trim them down to about 1 inch each. But I do not have those ends to weave in. And I just, you know, you just can't see it unless you're really looking. Right there is probably the most obvious. I mean, you know, all of these color changes, these all happened right here. You know. And boy, does that make your life easier at the end. That was a hint from Stephen West. Stephen West and what's her name, Rodriguez, who was one of the founders of Pom Pom magazine. They were both teachers in the first Knit Stars. I bought the first Knit Stars series. I think they're up to 5 now or 6. Where designers and famous knitter people did a half an hour class, or maybe more. I would have to go back and look. And gave you tips and things like that. And in that first Knit Stars, both Stephen West and the Rodriguez lady, who was the founder of Pom Pom, gave that same hint that just, you know, they weren't necessarily talking about when you were changing colors. They were talking about when you need to add a new ball of yarn, because, you know, to your sweater. Just nobody will notice. They said. Just a public service announcement: if you're using thin linen, you'll notice. But mostly otherwise you don't. Stephen West has changed his recommendation for that kind of thing now, where he has you twisting the yarn, which is something I also do. Where as you're knitting along, you just take the end and you put it over your yarn before you knit into it, and it kind of weaves the end in the back, and you can't see it. That's his, and he has a video about that. That's his new way, because the first Knit Stars was long ago. 5 years ago, maybe, or more. So, you know, he's evolved. But that has worked perfectly great for this sweater, if you can imagine. Having two ends to weave in every single, yeah, no. So anyway, so I finished my sweater. So today I'm going to trim the ends and weave in the ends, and I'll even look for buttons and see if I can finish it up, because I do need to do a podcast. I think I'll do a podcast this weekend. I have not worn the beautiful socks that Pat gave me because I want to show them on the podcast. So I will wear those after I podcast. And that will be fun because they're so squishy. So, that's my news. This is my news. I love the colors on the collar. I'm really happy with the, you know, and I have these beautiful colors. I didn't even notice that. I mean, I knew the top was darker than the bottom colors, but it didn't strike me how obvious that was. And the sleeves read dark too. So it looks like I have sort of this yoke, dark yoke, and going down the sleeves, and then a lighter body. And I think that's fine. It is fine. It's going to be fine because that's how it is. And I'll have to see. I feel a little itch here and there. I don't know. It's certainly wearable. You know, I would, if I wanted to go out and about, I would wear it. I wouldn't let the itch stop me because it's not much. But if I was sitting around the house and wanted to be cozy, I'm not sure if I would grab it because of the itch factor. I've heard people use hair conditioner on their wool sweaters that were itchy. Have any of you done that? Do you recommend that? Let's see if I can Google that. Because it's not itchy like my Malin sweater, which is a Highland Handmaid's rustic wool. I can't wear that without something under it. There's just no two ways about it. This is, yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I have an itchy spot here, I have an itchy spot here, and I have an itchy spot here. You know, it's not like the whole thing is making me crazy. But if I put a tank top, kind of a high-necked sleeveless thing, that would take care of a lot of the places where I'm feeling the itch. And I'm never gonna want to be wearing this if I didn't want to be warm, because I think it's gonna be warm, although you know, it just feels normal to me at the moment. We shall see. Anyway, so that made me a little bit sad, I have to tell you, because I'm kind of really in love with this sweater. I love how it looks. I love that it's all my minis from my wonderful advents. These colors. So anyway, I would really like to know if that hair conditioner plan works. So let me know. So today, like I said, Dennis will be cooking all day once he gets up, and bringing dinner to Aura's, and then we'll leave her all the leftovers so she'll have plenty of food. She's not in a cooking mood. I don't think she's been in a cooking mood for 50 years. I don't expect her to ever get into a cooking mood. But she'll have something to have for dinner besides bacon and eggs. No, not that bacon and eggs are not a very nutritious dinner. They are. And yummy. And easy to make. And I've had bacon and eggs for dinner this week too, so I get that. Anyway, so that's my plans. I'm very tickled with my sweater. I'm gonna figure out the itch thing, and I think I'm gonna make it my goal today. While Dennis is cooking dinner, my goal is to get this sweater finished. It hasn't been blocked, but do you have to block everything, every sweater that you knit? It doesn't feel like it needs to be blocked. I wonder what actually washing this would do to the mohair. That would be something to find out. Well, I'm gonna finish it. And do the buttons too, like finish it, because I want to wear it for my podcast. And I'm gonna wear it today, and then I guess I'm gonna wash it and block it. I got mohair in my face, and then we'll see. I got a notification on my phone. So I guess that's what I'll do. And while I'm upstairs looking for buttons, I will also look for another embroidery hoop. So now that I'm not obsessed with my sweater, because I was a little obsessed with my sweater, I cast this sweater on New Year's Eve. So it took me a week to knit this sweater. Now I know some people have been, knitted in 24 hours and whatever, but it wasn't a challenge. It was just, I couldn't put it down. I enjoyed knitting it so much. Someone noticed I had a Band-Aid on my finger. I had to put a Band-Aid on prophylactically because the mohair started to make a groove in my finger, because I'm a continental knitter, so I tension on my left hand. And I was starting to make a groove, and I was worried that I was going to be injured. So I put a Band-Aid. It worked. Because I was sitting and knitting for hours and hours and hours and hours, so I put a lot of hours in. But I did it in a week. Now what am I going to do? Could finish those socks. I have one of the heels cut for my self-striping socks. I haven't put it on the knitting needles yet, but it's stabilized on 2 little DPNs, but I don't knit with DPNs. And so I need to go find a pattern and figure out what afterthought sock heel I'm going to do. And then I could just do it, and then I could finish those socks, and then I would have 2 new pairs of socks in my sock drawer. My sock drawer won't know what to do with itself. And that would be fun. That would be the first pair in 2 years that I've finished, so maybe that'll motivate me to go. And I'm in the middle of the heel and another pair doing the Vanilla's, the new black heel. I just have to figure out where I am, and because I like that heel, and it's an easy one to knit 2 at a time on the same needle, which is how I knit my socks. You got an itch, pup? For an itch. So, anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Think about what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna practice my embroidery. If I can find an embroidery hoop. And, she just took a piece of wood off the front of the fireplace. And I'm gonna finish this and hope I can find the perfect button in my button box, because I've been collecting buttons, so I'm hoping that I can. And it's a bright, beautiful, sunny day, which is cheering, and I slept, so all is well. So that's kind of what I'm gonna be doing today, or maybe I won't do any of those things, because you know how it is with life. But either way, I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. Take good care of yourself. Stay safe.